Hi folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis, and it's a little chilly out today. They're backing down a little bit from the weather predictions. They're saying, well, first they were saying up to 6 inches of snow in our area, and now they're backing down to 1 to 3 inches. Probably looking at starting tomorrow afternoon, but they are saying that there could be ice. Who knows? We're ready for it either way. The kids are all excited. You know, they love the snow, so they're all excited about that. But so I wanted to talk a little bit about the financial market and what's going on. I'm sure some of you have been watching the stock market in the last few days just drop. And you know, a lot of people out there, you know, sounding the alarm that things are happening in the financial world. And so I wanted to jump in with my 2 cents, which after the drop, it won't be worth 2 cents. I am not an expert at all. In fact, I have nothing in the market. I used to. When I was younger, 20 years ago, thought it was cool and fun and played with it, and you know, it was, you know, like I said, it was kind of like a game for me. I'd invest in the stock market, move money around, and made a little money, nothing big. But I actually considered when I got out of high school of going to college to work somewhere in the financial industry, you know, the stock market or something. And only because I've always been really good at math. That was my best subject, and so I'd considered doing that. I'm glad I didn't, but. Anyway, so I don't know a lot. I'm not an expert, but I do know a little bit. So I wanted to talk about that and talk about it from a preparedness standpoint, but not so much about the stock market. There's something else that I've been reading about the last few days that, in my mind, is more of an alarm than the stock market dropping. You know, the stock market has gone up substantially in the last 2 years. And as always, it has to be put back in check. When it goes up rapidly, you know, it'll drop back down for a little while, and then it'll kind of ease back up. In a lot of ways, it's really like gambling. You know, you can make money if you know what you're doing, have a little bit of luck, but you also have to know when to pull out and stop. So it's, to me, if it was just, you know, the market dropping, you know, several hundred points in a few days, that alone, in my mind, isn't enough to say, whoa, something big's about to happen, because the market's gone up thousands of points over the last 2 years. So that alone wasn't enough for me to start sounding the alarm bells. But there was something else I started reading about, and it's not been talked about, at least I haven't seen it in like the front page of the news, let's say. But if you dig around online on some of the financial websites and stuff, CNBC is talking about it, Seattle Times, a few other financial news sites, and they're talking about the bond market. The bond market is, I guess, what they call right now an inverted curve, and try to explain it to you, because I don't know it all either. But from my understanding, basically, you know, you have short-term bonds and you have long-term bonds, and logically and typically, the long-term bonds, the longer you allow your money to set away and be invested, the better yield you have. And in the short term, you know, you're not putting your money away very long, so the yield, the interest rate, is much lower. Well, that's flipped around. You know, so you've got the 2 years are now bringing a higher interest rate, from what I understand, than like the 10-year bonds. That is what a lot of people in the financial industry, from what I'm reading, has got them more nervous than the stock market, and it's probably one of the reasons that the stock market is dropping, that people in the know that are deep into the financial market and trading, they see, or they feel, that we are heading for some sort of recession. And so they're pulling their money out of long-term investments and flipping it around into short-term investments. And then that's kind of a sign to the market that there are people a little nervous about long-term investments, so people are selling out. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons. And So it's something that I wanted to talk about, even though I'm not an expert on, is, how ready are you? I personally don't think that any of us can fully be ready, maybe unless you're some, multi-million billionaire where you can just have everything, built and made and stocked and stored up for yourself. But for the average person, and I would say probably all of the people that would be watching this, you can't be completely ready. Some of you may be more ready than others, but I don't think we can ever be all the way there. So how ready are you if something like this happens? My feelings is that this recession, and they're talking, there was another article, I want to say it was Forbes that I read it on, that they're predicting a recession by the end of 2019, first part of 2020, which, you're talking a year away. My feelings is that this is going to be a pretty big one. The last recession or two, I know there was people that lost money and that sort of thing, but overall, I don't think it was terribly catastrophic for the average American. And a lot of that's because the government, like they've been doing the last few decades, is they jump in and they start bailing people out and dumping more money into the system, which just only puts a band-aid on the bubble and allows the bubble to grow some more, but eventually it's going to blow up. I have a feeling that this could be that time. I may be wrong, but it could be. There's a lot of things going on in the world aside from the financial markets, which, all those types of things play into finances, that are so uncertain. And I know a lot of naysayers will say, well, there's always been wars, there's always been things like this happening. Yeah, that's true. But it seems that there's more and more stuff going on. Nearly every part of the world, every country, just about, it sounds like anyways, at least the major ones, there's problems. There's, obviously Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, from a war military standpoint, that stuff going on. Europe is not doing really well financially, for the most part, all of Europe. And then, you've got England or Great Britain over there, and they can't decide whether they want to pull out of the EU or not. And then here in the United States, a lot of turmoil. We are more divided than we've ever been. So I have a gut feeling that this time it's going to be a lot worse. Now, I'm not, predicting anything or anything like that, but I'm just out here trying to tell you guys that you need to be getting ready. If you can get out of debt or get out of as much debt as you can in the next year or two, you need to do that. You need to be stocking up on some stuff, food, medical supplies, guns and ammo. Absolutely. Most of those kinds of things, especially the guns and ammo things, the prices go up in recessions and stuff because they become more valuable, more people are looking for them. And let's say that Trump doesn't get reelected, and if he didn't, then it would most likely be a Democrat, which would also be around that same time of a possible recession. With the two going on, I would say that guns and ammo prices are going to just skyrocket. So you need to start getting that stuff. Right now, it's a perfect time for people in preparedness because things are actually really low. The other day I saw that your regular gasoline in town was $1.93. I cannot remember the last time I saw it under $2 a gallon. I mean, it's been a long time. So, you can stock up on gasoline. There's things you have to do to make it last, but you can do that. Food is really cheap right now for the most part. There's, a few things that aren't, but most food is really cheap. Get that kind of stuff, medical supplies, try to get out of debt, all those kinds of things. You guys need to be doing that. We all do. And none of us, trust me, just because I'm on here talking about this doesn't mean, we are set to go, we could handle Armageddon. No, we're constantly focused on that. We're constantly seeing where we need to improve upon, add to, testing things, checking our inventory, all that kind of stuff. So just because I'm on here with the YouTube channel talking about it doesn't mean that I'm some expert and I've got it all laid out, and I'm prepared for the worst, because we're not. I'm working on it. I've been working on it for years. It's something that, I've been into for a long time. But I'm telling you, people, I have a gut feeling, and there's a lot of people out there saying the same thing, that there's something coming. This world and this country is very uncertain right now. It's just it has this feeling that we're on the verge of it breaking. I believe that we are living in the end times, and so if you're a follower of the book, then read in there and see what's going to happen. It's kind of scary, and it's our job, it's our duty as individuals, because we can't depend on the government or anyone else. It's our duty to take care of our own, take care of ourselves and our families. So you need to be out there doing that. I have a feeling that it's a coming. But you can go out there and Google bond inversion in the news on Google, and there's several articles about that. There's several other things out there on the articles on the financial markets and stuff like that that's happening. So don't get complacent. Complacency kills. And I can't speak for other guys on YouTube that talk about preparedness, but I know for me that's something that from time to time I kind of have to fight. I get gung-ho on things, and then whatever happens, and I'm kind of like, well, I can kind of lay back a little bit, enjoy life, have some fun here around the place, and not focus so much on, the preparedness stuff as much. But we have to keep that in our mind. It doesn't have to be your primary only focus. It doesn't have to be the idol that you worship. But you need to keep that in your mind. You need to start talking to your wife, your husband, your kids, whatever, to get things ready. Because I do believe it's coming. It's not just conspiracy theorists, that are out there running around with tin foil on their head saying this. We're talking major financial markets and stuff. The experts in the financial markets and news media, they're talking about it. They're saying, hey, we need to get ready. We need to get ready. Something big's about ready to happen. The bond inversion thing. Every recession since, I believe, World War I or the Great Depression, something like that, every recession, there's always been a bond inversion that predecesses, that it happens beforehand, between 1 and 2 years ahead of time. So it's happening now. So historically, we've got 1 to 2 years before the recession hits. Could be less, but I don't think it'll be too much more than 2 years. I really don't. So that does give us time to work on things, and we need to be getting together. Encourage you to reach out to others in your community, creating local mag groups, teams, crews, whatever the term is. Every time I watch a different guy and different channel, it's talked about something different. Pastor Joe, I can't even remember the last time what he said on. I watched that video. I think it was crews. A crew was what, maybe I don't know. Anyways, but the people in your area, it's something that I'm working on here. As of yet, I haven't found anyone directly around me, within a few miles, that I can team up with. But I'm still working on that. But reach out to those guys. Start setting them, set up a meetup. Post it on Facebook. Go around to the local gas stations and feed stores and stuff. And a lot of them, especially in your small towns, have little community bulletin boards. Put up a flyer. We're meeting at such and such restaurant for, preparedness and that sort of thing. It's a good idea to reach out and build your local community also, especially before something like this happens. Because if it's really bad, you're going to need it. And I have a feeling that it could be really bad. I don't know if it's going to be apocalyptic bad, but I have a feeling we're looking at a bad one. It's really been, there's been recessions over the past few decades, but there hasn't been a really, really bad one that it changes average American life, daily life, since I guess maybe the 70s. I could be wrong, but I think so, into the 70s, that sort of thing. So let's all kind of start focusing on it. If it's not your focus, you need to. If you're able to get out of the city and get out in the country and start, kind of living more independent, that's great. Do that. If you can get out of some debt, do that. Start spending, budget $20 a month, $30, $40 a month, whatever you're capable of doing, $5 a month, and stick to it. Budget that money out, and say this month it's food, next month it's medical supplies. You could even plan it out, out of 12 months I'm going to do 4 months of budget for medical supplies and the rest for for food, or 2 months for fuel, different things like that. Plan it out, and stick to it, because your life and your family's life could very well depend upon it. And you say, well, so what if it's a recession? I mean, why do I have to stock up on food and stuff? Well, things could get really bad for you. And I'm not talking about, World War III bad, but you may lose your job. And wouldn't it be nice to have a year or two's food supply sitting in the back of the house that you lost your job and money's getting really, really tight, and it would be a thing of deciding on whether to be homeless or to eat? Lose your home so that you can eat, or starve so that you can keep your home and know that, hey, we got like a year or two's food supply in the back of the house, so we're good on that. And that's what that kind of stuff's for. So now's the time. Hear the warning, because it's coming out. It's out everywhere. Get on the news, and even though it may not be on the front page of every site and stuff, dig around. It's there, and they're telling you. You need to start getting ready, because hard times are coming financially, and the way things are so rocky in this world right now, it may bleed over to where it's not just financial hardship. It could be all sorts of other things. So anyways, that's my word for the day, is get ready, people, because I'm pretty sure we've got a recession, if not more, ahead of us. All right. Well, thank you guys and gals for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.